Good morning. Welcome to Paradise Now, Dialogues with the Mother. My name is Sanda Davis. I'm your host today and for many shows to come. Those of you who watched the show from the very beginning, which was back in July 2016, have noticed that there is a trend, that there is a journey within the show. I've mentioned the journey of men, the journey of stars, the journey of gods, the journey of planets. And I mentioned from the very beginning that that journey has always headed towards paradise. Why are we here on earth? We are here for paradise. What does that mean? I explained briefly at that time. Paradise is the fourth dimensional reality where the human qualities are uniting with the divine qualities, where the divine in human is uniting with the divine from above. It is a wholeness that occurs that helps all qualities and capacities and has effect on longevity, health, all aspects of evolution. Between the very beginning of existence and the gates to paradise, man develops. Pretty much everything develops up to that point. There are evolutionary attempts that were stopped somewhere down the road. In paradise, the evolution is continuous. Once the material and the divine is united, the evolution is continuous, tending towards the infinite, with the infinite being possible, with longevity for men being enough for men to reach to man's divinity. Longevity for human beings enough for human beings to reach to their divine level. From the divine level, the human beings are guiding men to evolve further, not only through their own deity, but to their own divinity. There are differences that we learn in time. What's the difference between a deity and a divinity? Being an evolving form of life that has not reached beingness yet. These are things that will be understood because they actually are the reality of somebody that we talk with. It's not just something out there. It's not a philosophy. It's a description of a reality. We can sit at the dinner table, and one is a human being, one is an angel, one is a divine being, and one is a deity. They will behave differently. The other ones will relate to them differently. And when you start to understand who they are and how they are, you'll understand why you defer to another more, to one more than to another. Why are you more impatient with a family member that may be in a different stage than somebody who is more advanced or more clear in his own evolution, that you would be more naturally respectful to. Not that we shouldn't respect everybody, of course we should. But in the day-to-day life, we will see that we relate differently to different beings, and they just happen to be in different stages. And when you understand, then you will know how to be helpful, how to be a good team player, respecting everybody's place and everybody's evolution. Now you'll see that in paradise, animals evolve. You can see it on social media right now, that animals are very interested in learning way more than before, when they're interested in surviving, hunting, perpetuating the species. So while animals were growing and maintaining and consolidating their vibrant potential for life in the journey up to this point, now they are more prone to evolving at a much more rapid rate, and they are more attracted to people because they learn from people. They recognize the difference between where they are at and where people are at. So you'll see that bears come to the road and wave at people who pass with a car. And you'll see lions playing with people, and you'll see deer coming from the forest right under the window, or moose sticking the head through the window and eating apples from somebody's kitchen. I adore those things because I know what that means, that actually they draw near people instead of hunting and chasing them away. They actually welcome them. They start to have food prepared for the animal that may show up. They even welcome raccoons. Well, some still have a protective way of dealing with that situation. But some welcome animals that are considered vermin, that are considered a problem for people. And now they show us what they do, how they relate. Probably most people who are on Facebook saw the raccoon who is knocking in the window with a rock, picks up a rock and knocks in the window to get the attention, because there was no food in the cat dish, and that raccoon mama was coming to the cat dish to eat. So, but then more interesting, you'll see cats and dogs and perhaps other animals. I've seen cats and dogs imitating people as they try to play the piano and to sing like people, not to mention the birds that can already not just imitate sounds, but respond in their limited range, but respond. The question was at some point if anything evolved from animals, if any kind of type of human evolved from monkeys, why for thousands of years or more there hasn't been any such evolution? Well, we might be surprised what we'll see in the future, because monkeys already start to wash dishes, if you saw that one. Monkeys already do all sorts of human things, not just by imitation, but actually they outsmart the humans and sneaking around and stealing their ice cream. So they cannot be held to high standards of morality, but they do. We actually laugh the way we'd laugh when we see a child stealing. We saw, it's more serious when a monkey steals the iPhone. I don't think that we really want that to happen. But the beauty of the interaction between people and animals is much more enhanced on the paradise side. On the side that's not yet entered the paradise ways, you'll see that either people want to exploit the smarter animals and make a lot of money on YouTube by making animals do all sorts of things to get attention. Many of them are wonderful. I totally appreciate that, but some of them are sad. So I wish they'll be a little bit more considerate, kind of trying to get a parrot to swear and to get a parrot rageful is not exactly the thing that I would encourage in anybody. But we see that even those from the other side of paradise try to imitate some of the paradise type beings' behavior. And you'll see also that the old tradition of men who goes hunting is still preserved. Now, what that means is that the whole transformation that should be without judgment but with great responsibility has stages. Different people are at different stages in the journey of people. In the next segment, we will be talking about the journeys in order to reveal to you the civilizations. So we're following the journeys from the old to the future. It's way more than new. It's a future rooted in the oldest, in the older and in the oldest realms. The future is as profound as the past is. The future can go further than the past. And the evolution of all beings starts with them growing first, developing next, and then evolving. All the growth that happened in the past system has developed, expanding in the transition between the old system and the new system. The new system is actually the original system planned by God. This is why it will succeed in everything that it does. The old system had alterations that were initiated without God's permission, and also changes that were imposed by cataclysmic events that really traumatized the best beings that needed time to collect themselves after cataclysm before going and fixing things. I can give you an example. The Big Bangs, which are more than one, the Big Bangs did not destroy the immortal beings, destroyed the physical form, but not the immortal, godly child of God form. A universal being, a planetary being, a human being of godly origin would last forever and would survive a Big Bang. The entropy is a problem, but not for God and not for the godly forms, but for everything else that it is of a material form. We will not have the entropy, we make sure of that. Now, in the old system, all the tragedies that you saw, where people would ask if there is a God, why is this happening? Of course there is a God, that should not be any question. Somebody reminded me today that in the Vietnam War, there were no atheists. All they had to do is to be in the firing line, to start immediately to scream, oh God, or pray for protection, pray to see another day. Now, in the evolution of beings in the old system, there were significant interferences. Every time a culture would evolve to a point of blossoming, a civilization that would tend to expand to the point where it would influence the rest of the world, it would be knocked down by all of those that were not working according to the plan to the godly plan. The original plan was made with a number of beings that participated, that knew how it has to be. And some of those departed, knowing the original plan, departed and knew exactly how to interfere and ambushed those that were working to help people. Ambushed them and traumatized them with extremely traumatic conditions that had lasting effects. We are still recovering from the first Big Bang. We're still recovering from that. There are still beings that have amnesia because of the shock of the first Big Bang. After the first Big Bang, most beings couldn't remember who they were. That's a manifestation that happens in the human beings as well, when after a number of traumatic experiences, after severe trauma, they may have temporary memory problems. So at some point I read somewhere the phrase that we are on earth, all deities, divinities, gods who suffer with amnesia. People don't know who they are. Now, the first gate to paradise is the gate of identity, know thyself, because you need to know who you are, what are your responsibilities, that from there you know what to do. So the entire evolution had to do with roughly two major hurdles. The blatant disobedience of those who produced the Big Bang, which was the conditions that generated the Big Bang. I should be more specific, the one who produced the Big Bang. There's one who produced it and everybody who suffered. Those that produced traumatic events at different scales and who impeded the progress of the good. You'll see throughout history that there are saints coming to enlighten people, and they were being persecuted in different cultures in different ways. But books burned, people burned. All of that was done within a realm that was functioning according to the rules of lawlessness, departing from godliness. And all the interventions were not only to save their victims, but also to save the perpetrators and to put them on a better path. And it came to a point where that system, where beings are supposed to grow and to develop, and then to evolve towards paradise, that was always the plan. Let them grow, let them develop, let them develop their divine being as they connect through paradise or to paradise. And all of that journey of planets, gods, people, stars, all of that journey was like individual rivers that were more or less aware of each other, but not exactly clear, not exactly working as consistently as they needed to. And through all of those struggles, all the good ones were working to transform the other ones into better beings. Like, okay, you've done wrong, repent, you'll be forgiven. Okay, you don't know what you do, learn what to do, we'll teach you what to do. And that transformation amounted to the fact that we had what it takes to head to the paradise dimensions. At the same time, we had the huge resistance from the other side that didn't want, that was fighting against everything good, that was knocking down civilizations, that was knocking down peace among people, starting religious wars or military wars for conquest that would knock down civilizations. And knocking down an evolved civilization would throw people in deeper suffering and deeper loss and delaying their development. So we had to deal through all of that while the God work was continuous. All divinities, all deities were doing everything possible, but they were, like is described in scriptures, they were with one hand on the building tools and the other hand on the sword. Sword of truth, sword of righteousness, not necessarily an aggressive sword, but aggression was a constant as soon as evolution was happening. Evolution was feared because those who are not doing things rightfully, they were not in position to evolve at the same rate with the other ones who are doing things rightfully. So now my message to those who are not rightful is to do things rightfully if they too wish to evolve. Now, the dynamic that I was mentioning in this previous segment is reminding you of the fact that civilizations flourished and then they were knocked down. Empires flourished and they were knocked down. Times of enlightenment started and then darkness came. What is different this time is that the civilization that we have will get better and better and better. Not only because we have everything that it takes for the future, or because we have everything it takes for the future, not only cosmic and divine conditions, but the human will to have it better. Everybody had enough with the way things went for the past, let's say, 12,000 years. Everybody learned their lessons, and they found themselves gaining everything they wanted the wrong way, and it meant nothing. When before the year 2000, everything was headed on a collapse direction, the sky was not holding well, the holes in the ozone layers, they were miles wide. The atmosphere with pollution in the world was seriously threatening health. The viruses that were attacking people, particularly HIV, was rampant. The decay of morality was heading to a path of self-destruction of society. Everything was going down, and on top of that, people had the despair of the imminent end, and that is when the darkest of beings have actually kneeled down and asked for the change, because meanwhile they learned that they like to live. They didn't want to be destroyed by yet another cataclysmic, yet another apocalypse. So if it was not crushing of civilization, a fall of an empire, or a cataclysmic apocalyptic event to threaten continuity, it was the total lack of knowing what was going on, the total superficial relating on superficial knowledge, and trying their best to survive, but not really believing in survival. Actually, suicide rates were staggering before the year 2000. I would like to see a comparative study before 2000 and after, or before 2002 and after 2002. I would believe that there'd be a significant difference there. Past 2002, people started to have hope in the future and to see the looming light of paradise. They were just recovering from a big scare, which was what happened with 9/11. But because of so much goodness, instead of generating a world war, which is what 9/11 was intended for, instead of that, people pulled together, and so much goodness was made visible at that time that it really created the big momentum that led to the Universal Declaration that happened in 2002, April of 2002, precisely April 5th, 2002. There was a Universal Declaration of the future being deferred to God by all beings, all. Didn't matter how deep they were in the pit of the worst place. After that, more. So in 2002, the Looming Paradise and the declaration that everybody deferred to God, because everybody who had any awareness wanted to survive. Yeah, we survived the 2000 dangers at 1999 and the year 2000, which was a real danger. But there are other waves coming. And all beings knew that without God, that cannot be done. The survival cannot be ensured without God. And that is when there was an increase of divine interest in people, an increase of spirituality. The communication between people became easier and easier, from cell phones to the internet, chat rooms. Then came MySpace and Facebook and so on. All the possibilities for people to express and communicate and encourage, as the declaration of the system that would be restored according to the plan of God was made universally to all beings. You'd be amazed how much of that is happening. As soon as something is important enough, souls' minds are focused and they get the messages, as if going to a conference. They just do it in the clouds, in the dimensions where they have to communicate. But as that came, all the ones that were coming from the worst places with the worst habits of deception, aggression, and everything, yeah, they did kneel down, but it didn't mean that they would become kind and perfect overnight. They actually decided to gather the essence of all evil, find that one that provoked the first Big Bang, infuse him with all that essence, and send him to attack and to set us up continuously. And it was for real, it was not a drill. It was the whole evil of the whole history downloaded, infused in one being, a large celestial being, not just anybody. And it was, okay, guys, you go and build paradise, you holy ones, spiritual ones, go build paradise, and this guy is going to be on your case and put everything no, he will not test you. He will be the best test possible, but he will attack. Because unless you learn to overcome all of that evil from the past, you have no future. That was not the decision from God, but it was the decision from all the major participants, from all the major constellations, from universal and cosmic authority. They'll say, okay, let's see if Earth is to fulfill its role as paradise, can it defeat all the evils? Let's see that it can. That one who was the first one that produced the biggest cataclysm, now he will have all the evil that was gathered within history, within human history, actually is beyond history. All of that will be acted upon people, will be acted upon planets, upon stars. That one will not relent until he will destroy you. He is the destroyer, he was the destroyer, but he was much more than the destroyer, and he was not going to relent. So we see that instead of a beautiful, smooth transition between 2002 and 2016, We had 2 cycles of very difficult times, and we came well out of those difficult times. Now, what do you think the one who was attacking us said? He said, I want you to succeed, but I will not spare you. I want the good to succeed, but I will not give in to you. If I beat you, I beat you. So we had to accept it because we had no choice. Unless we made godly choices, we did not have support for the ungodly choices. We had just enough protection to be able to advance towards godliness, but not to continue with the ungodly. So we actually have a very serious task ahead of us, but we do it free of the evil. So with all the attacks that happened within this 14 years, from 2002 until now, we succeeded to stop all the rounds of apocalyptic forces that were attacking. We've gone through earthquakes like we've never seen as we were growing up, like more than 8.8. Many 7 something. We've gone through so much, including nuclear accidents, including attempts to start world wars, and yet things were kept under control with divine power, as well as with human intervention. And in 2002, the looming light of paradise was announcing that, paradise is activated. It took until 2008 for the connection between people and paradise to happen. And that was a wonderful moment of advancement that was also upsetting those that were trying to prevent paradise. So the opposition to all good things was continuously at work, not only because they wanted to stop the perfectly good ways, they wanted things to be kind of muddy, kind of, okay, let's have it good, but we can do some bad stuff, and we can go and shoot around, and we can mistreat some people. And no, the empire of God, more than kingdom, the empire of God is clearly no killing. Killing will be eliminated, is being eliminated continuously. You see things happening in the world with people doing things that are not according to the will of God, but that will be put under control in a gradual learning, moral development way, but it will be happening. There'll be a day when they will put their weapons down, as it is written, they will build plowshares from their weapons, and we'll see real peace in the world, because people are smart enough to understand that they gain more through peace than through hurting each other. So not only we had the connection between people and paradise happen in 2008 and then continuous increase in that direction, but in 2011, we had Earth evaluated at the universal and at the cosmic level to see, is Earth any danger for anything around? And no, it is not. Is Earth necessary? Yes, it is. Is Earth worthy of being paradise? And all the factors indicated, yes, Earth is paradise. So since then, there were continuous evaluations, and these ones that were fighting to stop us could not stop us. We kept eliminating dragons and everything that was attacking, We kept eliminating dark forces and everything that was harmful. And at the same time, we kept advancing while the other ones tried to stop us. Not just to stop us, but because they wanted the power, because for millennia they had the power. And if they got the power, they would just have messed up everything that we had achieved. After the break, more about this. So after all the advancement that we had, we've gone through many events that are worth explaining another time for you to see what was behind the scenes when things were happening on Earth, including what was happening behind the scenes during the elections in the United States. It was most significant and is very important for the future. I shall have a show specifically for that. So after all of that, we came to Earth is paradise, but who will lead? Who is in charge? It is evidently the empire of God on earth. But who is God? So all the contenders had to, all those that were supposed to be God, that people thought that that's God, who were their God, but not necessarily, but definitely not the God of everybody. They had to demonstrate the impact. What did they have historically as impact, and what would they have as paradise? What kind of paradise would be a paradise led by one religious leader or another religious leader? Of course, every religion wanted their leader to be the leader of paradise. Actually, the leader of paradise is the group of them, each one of them respecting rather than fighting with each other. Each religion will have their leader having their place in paradise. Each religion will have their people and their leader in paradise. Rather than have one take over everybody, there are important reasons for which there are different religions, because there are different people, there are different star connections, constellations that people come from. We don't mix. Different people have different needs, have different divinities and deities and gods, and we have to respect that. And as everything is getting organized, in 2016, November 20th, 2016, it was universally and cosmically evidenced that the mother is the God. Not that that was not known, but every being had to examine the results. Source of life, protector of life, one who could temper the ones that were aggressing. So it was the universal recognition of the mother as a God. Well, not everybody was very happy with that. That doesn't take away from the fact that there are many gods. There's one God, and then there are many gods. And it has to be so. In the next segment, I will explain to you how important it is that the monotheistic view that says that there's one God only, put that with big letters, but then that one God only has very competent sons and daughters who are gods, who are deities, who are divinities, who are angels, who are divine beings. Every level of reality has leading divine and godly capacities at work. Nothing works. I'll explain in the next segment. Nothing works. No civilization, no evolution, no universe works with one God only and everybody just nothing. It doesn't work that way. There is a gradual potential and gradual evolution and individual responsibility. And as that one God had no intention to take over, just to help and empower everyone to be the best that they can be. The other ones that were overextended wanted to take over. And that one that was after us to knock us down wanted to knock down all those smaller gods, knowing that he cannot knock down the god, but he wanted to knock down everybody so that he could obtain his entropy. Like if he could knock down all the gods, he could knock down everything that existed, and then he would have been dissipated, and all there was God. And that's not the plan of God. The plan of God is for everything to work together for good, and everything to work towards an infinite future, with every being evolving, in every world evolving in harmony with one another. I will explain more details in the next segment after the break. Empires knocked down civilizations, aggression knocked down civilizations in the past. It will not be permitted for that to happen now. Now that the essence of evil is being continuously dissolved, that every being that had chosen the evil way is transformed, every individual has to learn the better way. The individual has to take responsibility for themselves. I will mention that the first responsibility that they have to take is the moral responsibility, having integrity at work, at home, having all the virtues that come with morality that is well upheld. Is imperative for the future. And there are many, many beings on earth that are of divine origin and that have no problem understanding the importance of morals and have the will to learn to teach the other ones. I will remind you that every empire was destroyed by the immorality that they developed when they were destroying the culture. The cultures that flourished, that were eventually destroyed by the immorality within the empire, immorality which then destroyed the empire itself, all of those cultures flourished when there were gods walking the earth and known to people, gods above and gods on earth, a multitude of specialized gods. Look at all the civilizations that had art and books and music and philosophy and cosmic knowledge and wonderful beings and legends about gods walking the earth and relating to people, and actually gods being the higher being of people that were walking the earth, and having immortals walking the earth. That was the time when, from the higher place, there was support for this evolution of the civilization. Think of the Greek civilization, think of the Roman civilization, of the Egyptian civilizations, Persian civilizations, and many others. But think of these four that actually had the most knowledge, most evolution, that influenced history ever since, that influenced culture ever since, that they were actually polytheistic, having one God, but having also many, many other gods. And that was the time when civilization was at their peak. Without empires to knock down our current civilization, and without immorality to knock down civilization and empire, and with godliness, we will have the development of paradise on earth.